because it's being recorded.
These are all recorded.
And like log in.
Audio and video.
Oh. They're not live.
They're not live.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the July Siskiyou City Advisory Board quarterly meeting for the City of Delaware. And we will start out by having a roll call, please.
Ms. Horvath? Present. Ms. Means? Here. Ms. Rush? Here. Ms. Sally Granger? Mayor Riggle? Here. Vice Chairman Kopp? And Chairman Deaver.
Here. So do we have a motion to excuse Rita and Will?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Ms. Horvath? Yes. Ms. Means? Yes. Ms. Rush?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle? Yes. Chairman Deaver.
Yes. Well, I would like to welcome our new members. So, Julie, welcome to you, and to Colleen. Thank you for joining our board. We hope you have fun.
We will.
If you don't have fun, it's your fault.
Okay.
I would also like to thank Dan for being a member of our board. He's been on our board since it started 4 years ago now. So I appreciate what he's done, and when I talked to him this week, he said that he would be really looking forward to working with us when the Cicada students come to Dempsey in October and November and so forth. So I think that's great. He can really help us a lot there with that. And he would be somebody who could potentially go back to Japan sometime with kids from Dempsey if we ever do that again. I mean, that would be something that would be in his sort of wheelhouse, really. So I think he appreciates what he was able to do with us, and the fact that he's at Dempsey now is very well connected with us. So I just wanted to say that. So let's see. We have the minutes before us of our meeting in April. Have you had a chance to look at them?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any comments on the minutes from April?
Make a motion to approve.
All right. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Julie.
Ms. Horvath? Abstain. Ms. Means? Yes. Ms. Rush?
Abstain.
Mayor Riggle? Yes. And Chairman Deaver.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll move on to the main items in the agenda here. So since our last meeting, you've all been to Cicada. It seems like ages ago that we had our last meeting. That was a 4-year trip. I mean, it seems like it was so long ago. So tell us a little bit about it, and tell us what we can do perhaps as an advisory board to move things on. If you have any thoughts about that.
You want to watch the movie first and then we'll talk about it?
Sure, that'd be great.
It's not really your pictures that you worked so hard on today.
If you can explain the pictures.
No problem.
Okay.
This was when we first got to the airport. This was at the airport. They greeted us. They flew into Tokyo and stayed with us, and then we took the next leg of the trip up to Cicada.
So is this in Narita? Did you go into Narita or
Haneda.
Okay.
This is Osaka airport.
Oh, I don't have the glasses on. Okay, I apologize. So this is our final stop. See those big long signs? Those were everywhere that said, "Welcome to Cicada."
Wow.
The one on the left, this was the people at the hotel when we got there that evening. So all of the hotels had these kimonos on. It was bright pink, and they were called their happy kimonos. And they were all outside greeting us, waving American flags and Japanese flags, and we weren't allowed to touch anything. We took it all to our room. Of course, they were so nice. Okay, and then the one on the right is the geisha dancers that we really enjoyed. This is very rare that you ever get to see this in Japan. There are 2 dancers, and then the one to the right of them without the headpiece on, she's in training. We really enjoyed this.
Very special.
Okay, where are we at here? Oh, this is City Hall?
Yeah. think the right is, she was
At
the
the,
woman at the
the Geisha House, yes.
yeah, who was explaining this.
Right.
Just more signs, and more welcoming signs. We saw these everywhere. So they took our logo, they took logo for the cicada, and they took these signs. So everywhere we,
Everywhere.
and so we,
We thought Kitty was just running in front of us, putting these signs up. It wasn't. They were everywhere.
they've done a lot of planning. A lot of planning.
When we got to City Hall, we were told, when they picked us up at the airport by bus, we were told to get on the bus in a certain order, and they would explain later. So when we got to City Hall, we got off, and we were each announced, each given a bouquet of flowers, and the amount of people that was there was just unbelievable. I mean, the whole, behind us is a big, long corridor, and it was just full of people waving flags, smiling, shaking our hands. And then we went into City Hall, and I don't think there was anybody working. It was just rows and rows and rows of people. It was just,
It was
felt like celebrities. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We were rock stars.
completely overwhelming getting off the bus.
And these two on each side of the delegation there, these are their mascots. So there are little people in there. I don't mean little people. There are people in there. Well, I don't know, they're really cute. They were,
Uh-huh.
pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just fun. They were a little bit. Yes. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so economic development was something that we planned as part of the trip. So we visited an Epson plant and got an incredible tour, behind the scenes tour of Epson. And they make digital printers and inkjet cartridges. And, the other plant that we toured was a golf club manufacturer. And they actually manufacture golf clubs in Cicada. So we indicated that we would be open to having both of those types of factories located here in the States, and we'll be following up with them about that. But
Now,
just having that relationship.
Hone is the golf club factory, and they actually have chunks of wood from the Mississippi. That's what they make their woods out of, so that gets shipped over there. Watching them make the irons is unbelievable. OSHA's not there, so there's no eyeglass wear while they're welding and working. It was just unbelievable. It was really cool. When we went to Epson, it was very different. We weren't allowed to take any pictures. We had to be dressed from head to toe
Check
twice.
the suits.
I mean, you put one suit on, you put another one on top of it, and it was hilarious. I would have loved to have a picture and all that. They were lime green. But we weren't allowed any pictures, but they treated us really nice in both places.
So static electricity and just
Yes, all that, foreign objects. And we went to the golf place, then they took us out by, how'd we get out to the golf range? Did we walk? I guess
So we
could
walked
walk.
out to their golf range.
Yeah, and you could all practice the golf.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Yeah, and they had a robotic golfer that they used to test clubs with. And it showed us, it's swinging, and these golf balls are shooting out for hundreds of yards. Yeah, it was impressive. There was only one of us who really could golf, and it was Jeff Sprague with Next Transportation. Jeff was the business representative on the trip. And, he was practicing his swing. And, really had a good time with it. Culture.
So this was the first night, the big dinner. There was about 40 of us there, and this was the drums that was just
Special
unbelievable.
drum presentation, which we have on video, and it's part of a larger presentation that will include the video clips of these drummers, and unbelievable. You could see them. They had us pose with them.
Beat the drums.
Yes, that was part of the opening ceremony.
In the opening ceremony, there was 8 of us, 8 different tables, so there was 40 people there. They separated all of us so that Tom was with business people, I was with the mayor, the school representative with the school, so that they just thought it all out. We each had our own interpreter, and it was just unbelievable. Such a good time. Everything was detailed as to where you sit, who you talk to. You had to put those in there, didn't you? Yeah, give you a raise. When they took us to a museum, and these are 16th century
This was a
warrior It's very, very heavy. It probably weighs 15, 20 pounds. It took 3 people to dress us. And then I just can't imagine fighting and all that. And the swords, I mean, we couldn't even get the swords out with everything that's, your arms are all tied down. It's pretty cool though. And then they took us for a ride in this little buggy with a little parasol.
Yeah.
Thanks. There we are.
Standing before.
You love those pictures.
You must have been exhausted though, after that long trip in the middle of this.
Yeah, I think it took a few days to get adjusted, but you just kept going constantly. It's like being on any kind of tour where it's programmed.
Right.
Way up. The samurai warrior steps.
God, this is the garden. What we got?
That was a museum of that was a museum of history. It was part of the golf manufacturer.
Kona.
Kona is a big name in Sakata, almost like the Rockefellers. And they endowed a lot of things in Sakata. And one of the things they did was this is a Japanese home with gardens that they preserve as kind of a historical museum. And the gentleman there with the long hair, he was a tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just touring us around here. On the right, that was the right was.
Yeah, that's when we went back up to see the cherry blossoms in the evening.
Yeah. Just a replica of a Japanese.
Sakata was, the way they made their money was rice that they transported around Japan to Tokyo. And so we got to see the where the rice factories used to be, or not the factories, but the buildings there. And so that's how that all started, and they went the long way around to get to Tokyo. I don't know why they didn't go the short way. They never really told us why, but they went and took 6 months, 3 months there and 3 months back to transport the rice. And Tokyo at that time was a very small city, not like today is 30 million people. Crazy. More geisha dancers. This is a very large one of these. This one has 99 hanging on it, and there's always an odd number, and it's something to do with their culture, never an even number.
It's called Kasafuku.
That's what it's called.
Each one of these represents you pray, I think. There's a certain
Keep away evil
ritual
spirits.
to keep away evil spirits from children. And so we will have, this one it was a gift to the mayor that we'll keep here at City Hall.
And then where was that one at?
This was at the close.
I'm at the back one that, go back one more. One on the left. Where was that at?
That one.
Was that Tokyo?
That may have been.
Oh, okay.
That may have been.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Oh.
This was the evening, the closing ceremony. They did these dances.
And it's not going on now.
This is called the Dragon Dance. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
two people in each one,
Yeah.
in the dragons, in one of the tail. And I guess that's very rare, we got to see it twice while we were there. Because our interpreter said that they've never even seen it, and she's lived there for like 12 years, and have never seen that dance.
Oh, it's doing this.
Thinking.
Thinking.
I apologize. But it actually.
Oh, there we go. Good job. And Tom was in heaven,
Yeah, I love.
and I was in misery.
I love Japanese food, and Carolyn did well. But there was some challenging. There was a couple of dishes that were pretty challenging. Most of the food was really, really good. It's so much. Their culture is so wrapped up. Their food is so much wrapped up in their culture. It's so much a work of art as much as it is a work of just food itself. how they present it.
Eat sushi and the
Yeah,
sashimi
yeah, and
and-
sushi and noodles
And blowfish.
yeah,
And eel. And
yeah,
I like the one on the left. The one that was
Tempura.
good.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
yes.
tempura.
And
Yeah.
rice, did I see rice? Did they go-
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, the rice
Oh,
is
yeah.
the main
They
staple.
bring you out and show you the rice before they serve it to you to make sure.
Is that like wine? You have to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sake is a big part of it. Yeah. So that's me with the mayor, who is actually as tall as.
He was tall, but he's
Taller than
6
our
foot
mayor.
one. We got along just fine.
Yeah. And that's, one of,
Yeah.
I think that was at the Samurai,
Oh,
when
okay.
we were outside. There was a
Okay.
little break that we took.
Oh, you were having the tea ceremony.
Yeah, right, that's right.
And very, very green, thick tea. I love
Is it caffeinated? Did it have caffeine?
I don't think so.
Did it have the leaves? Did they?
It was so thick you couldn't tell.
Really?
No, it didn't have leaves. It was very good, I thought. And then the one on the other side, go back one screen.
That one?
There, that one. The
This
one on the right,
was,
that's the Japanese house, that was from the
right.
signing ceremony. I think, prior to
it was
the signing.
prior to the ceremony.
Yeah, they took us to a house that the city owns. It's a Japanese home that they use for special ceremonies. So that's where the signing
Do they
ceremony
have the sliding?
Oh, yeah, that's what you see on the right there.
Yes.
They had them, all these different rooms.
Do you take your shoes off?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you sit on pillars?
Yeah. And in some cases,
Right
you
on
just
the-
have the floor.
Right
or
on flats.
something, Yeah. You'll have to go the next time.
I would love to.
This was at the college. We got to spend an evening with students. We had a good time there with them. And then, this we were exchanging gifts at the high school probably. Or one of the
Yeah, so
schools.
one is, the college is on the left and high school is on the right. Because we had a representative from Ohio Wesleyan there, the provost was there, and they were able to establish a relationship with the university there. So they want to start an exchange program. So that was one of the other fruits of that.
3,000, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so one on the left is the high school, maybe?
Yes, that's during
Yes,
the
yes,
closing ceremony where they did the dance for us. And they didn't do the dance, they did the calligraphy.
Right. And the middle one is the calligraphy, and they did assign it. It says, welcome to Sakata. And the kids all, great music to it, it was awesome.
And we've got some video of that that we'll use at some point that shows them actually doing the work and then holding up the banner. And it said, thank you for visiting us. It was really, really special.
And then they made us each one a picture of our names too, in the calligraphy.
Did they put newspapers on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're painting with ink.
This was outside the Epson plant. We couldn't resist
Beautiful.
cherry blossom time, so we got off the bus and had a picture.
It smelled so good.
Is that the peak?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was at the park, at the Cherry Blossom Festival up on a hill. And just more pictures of the trees.
You hardly weather.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Does it snow there? I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah, they're on the Sea of Japan,
Okay.
so their climate is not unlike ours.
this is probably my favorite picture.
That's a great.
Very nice, very nice picture.
See, and I thought, I want one just me and the mayor. I thought I did this one.
Yeah, and that's City Hall on the left, so that was during, after we came out of City Hall.
Is that his full-time job? Or
Yes,
does
yeah,
Oh.
and they have a huge city council, they have, I think, over
That's 28.
28 council members. So
But they meet very differently. They meet 4 times a year for 3 weeks at a time. 3 solid weeks. So it's very different than what we do.
Monday
A whole lot
through
more than we
Friday?
do. Yeah.
Full 3 weeks?
Wow.
Do they have other sister cities other than
Yes.
Seoul?
Yeah, they have one in China, they have one in Russia. They really want, this really started with the program that Dempsey started years ago. It's kind of cool about it.
And how large is the city of Secaucus?
About 100,000.
It's a little bit
Quite
bigger.
good, yeah.
This was, I'm a Rotarian, so I'm part of the Delaware Rotary Club, so I was over there to exchange the flag with Rotaries International, so I was able to arrange going to their Rotary Club and receiving their flag, and then I exchanged the Delaware flag. It was great. It's just a
Mhm.
This was on the left, I think it was coming, I don't know if that's coming into City Hall, but the right was after we came into City Hall. We were escorted onto an elevator up to the second or third floor, I can't remember, and into this really, really nice meeting room where they had arranged this really nice table with our nameplate, names in each, everybody had their own nameplate, a place to sit, and the flags. And that's where we discussed the sister city relationship and how it would work. Pretty special. And they gave us gifts at that time.
Yeah. And this was the signing of the document over there. This was very, very formal. We had to go to rehearsal, down to how to open my pen. It was so funny because the pens don't hold, they twist. And so it's just every single detail in the whole room was full of reporters and cameras going off. So we did a presentation, they did a presentation. The students that were here last year, they got up and did a little presentation. And then we're getting ready to sign and he can't get his pen open. So I elbow him and I go like this. And he goes, oh, thank you. It was so cute.
So this is kind of long, but I just wanted so you can see.
They brought out this document with white gloves. I mean, you wouldn't even touch it. And the pen came out on a tray with white gloves. Still want that pen. I never did get it. And this is what it looks like.
So he signs with every letter and then they cross over.
But we had interpreters the entire time.
This is my Secret Service man. Did you see him?
He stepped down, he picked something up.
No, here's my Secret Service man. Oh. I loved it.
He had muscle.
Yeah. So the highlight of this, I mean, obviously, was the kind of the climax of the entire visit was the signing, Mayor Riggle signing the Sister City Agreement, which really formalizes the relationship now between the city and Nsakata. But what was really special was this document they sent us was a letter from the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Japanese government, who actually was writing to their mayor acknowledging this and how important these types of relationships are given the situation in the world right now. It's just
And they were
very
going to
moving.
be there except for Vice President Pence had just gotten there.
Yeah.
So they
Stole your thunder.
got out.
So they had a letter from the governor of the prefecture, the Yamagata prefecture, and then this from the Minister of Foreign Affairs. It's like the Secretary of State.
Yeah. And these are the students.
Yeah, they had got students who had come to Dempsey. So all of these students had been to Dempsey at one time. Selected them to be part of the ceremony.
And how old are they now?
Probably still
Some
high
were here
school.
last year, but
Yeah, more recent.
Yes.
More recent, yeah.
Don't do that.
And they put together a travel log.
who put together a travel log?
They do. They sent this to us.
Oh, this is what they said to us,
Yeah.
okay.
Is this you guys doing the drama?
Yeah.
I didn't have that much fun.
That's the rice. Yeah. Sounds food. The trees that are 250 years old, the bonsai trees protecting the rice. It's just
I mean,
unbelievable.
I'm familiar with bonsai, the small.
A little.
Yeah.
Their culture's just unbelievable. And that was a sake factory, we haven't tried one.
Wow,
Thank you.
wow,
So it was quite a trip.
whoa, that was really special.
We're still working the full report with video for council. But this just gives you a
Yeah,
taste of,
I mean, that would be great to show to Rotary sometime,
Yeah.
for instance.
yeah, that's what we need to do, is get one that has a video.
That's very impressive. And I'll just say that I think, Carolyn, you and Tom did a great job of representing us. I mean, that's a very
Thank you.
dramatic experience, really, but it looked like you did a great job. So,
Great job hosting us.
you really looked like you enjoyed it.
I did.
That was really evident.
And I think, Rand, I think the Sister City Committee can help us figure out ways to sustain the relationship. And I think this one has been sustained over the years through the schools. But it would be great if we could figure out a way to provide an opportunity for the community members to perhaps go over, and their community members to come over here. We've talked about that. We've also talked about when we met, Carol and I had a separate meeting that wasn't planned. It was really during one of these tours, they had Carol and I meet separately with their mayor and their staff just to talk about kind of a blueprint for how you want to, sustain the relationship. So we talked about opportunities for city officials to go over and learn more about what they, how they do things there and vice versa, but also the community. And that's maybe where Sister City.
Well, and the culture. We'd love
Yeah.
to see some of their arts come here to the Ross Museum and us send things there. So we talked a lot about that.
Yeah, Saskia Brogan was here at our last meeting. She came in for 10 minutes or so, and because she had been there just on a private visit, and I think she had a great time there. I mean, I had a great time on my trips to Japan. You experienced the hospitality and the beauty of so many things and you can do that on a private trip too.
Right.
And that's what makes it. I mean, if anybody has an interest in Japan, that's a way to perhaps.
Connecting with something familiar.
Yeah,
It's
because
got
they're
a,
going to
you have
welcome
a
anybody
connection
from
to it.
Delaware, just like Baumholder would welcome anybody from Delaware. We'd welcome anybody from Baumholder. That's what we have a home.
A connection. Connection.
So.
That's great. I mean, of all the things of the things I've seen here since I've been a part of this committee, that would be something really special to show people here in Delaware. And that really shows you the power of what we can do in a way. So, I mean, here in Delaware, we could never produce such a event, but it's not American to do that.
Here first. They wanted to make sure, they wanted to see kind of what the benchmark was.
Yeah.
And we
Where the
put a
bar
lot-
was set.
Yes, we are.
Because they visited us in 15, and we put a lot into that, and we did a lot, but,
It's another scale, and
Yeah.
it's part of their culture. It's not our culture. We're a more casual culture, and I think that's who we are as Americans.
And we talked about that with Rika. And she said, that's okay, we understand that. It's just the difference between our worlds. Fine with that.
Yeah.
It's over
Wow.
the top, that's all I know.
Yeah, that was more than I imagined. So, whoa. Do you have any observations on it as new members?
I think the world is getting smaller because of the internet, and it's nice to have the relationships that you can build this way. And with the kids, having those experiences and being able to go back and forth and to be able to immediately talk to one another instead of the old pen pal ways, it just, to be able to share and have that with the world coming together though, and have, like, they are more formal and we are more casual, you're sharing things that are different that they haven't experienced as well as we haven't. So it's just kind of cool.
Very impressive, very impressive.
Very fortunate to see the pieces of culture that you saw. I mean, obviously there's a lot of mystique around the geisha, and to be able to experience some of that,
Yeah.
the dragon dance and the other thing.
They also played this instrument that was 12 foot long. I don't know what it is. It has like 13 strings on it. It took 2 people to carry it in.
It looks like a dulcimer. I mean, it's,
Almost, but
yeah.
it's very rounded on the bottom.
We were
It was-
told that it was very rare. that
Very
we were
rare.
Hearing this.
And they played 3 songs for us. Usually they play one, if they do play it all. So it's a lost art.
I think one of the other things that was really interesting was that we visited Tokyo at the end, and Carolyn had the suggestion that we take the train from Sakata to Tokyo, which was about a 3.5 hour train ride through the countryside. So you could really see the countryside, and then obviously you come to Tokyo, it's a lot different. But that train ride in and of itself is pretty fascinating. But then Tokyo is just unbelievable. I mean, it's a city of, almost 30 million.
Another overwhelming.
Yeah, and just being able to experience that part of the culture as well was special. And that was all done separately from the city. We did that on our own.
We weren't treated the same in Tokyo. We were treated totally different in Tokyo. We would go into a restaurant and there'd be several tables and then you tell us they were really full. It was,
Sing City.
yeah, so different.
Yeah, right.
I would say, there's the table right there.
Right.
Shy person that I am.
We didn't have the same standing as we did.
Yes, you lost some of your panache.
Yeah, I like it.
Question, do the Dempsey students go to, I know we host, but.
They've gone
there
once, and we're
Okay.
hoping, Rand is trying to, working with the committee to try to make that more of a regular type of exchange, and hopefully through the representation with the schools, and the work that, what is the name of the teacher at Dempsey?
Julie, is it Julie Myers?
Joanne Myers is actually the high school.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Ann?
Oh, she's a teacher at Dempsey. She's been very involved in the Sakata program. We need to figure out a
Work
way
on that.
to establish, doesn't have to be every other year necessarily, or every year. They do it
Every year.
Yeah, they come every year.
every year.
The only year they missed was 911.
Do they do fundraisers?
The
To-
government pays for this.
Yeah, I mean, they view it as an important part of expanding relationships to other countries. And so
And
they're-
their education.
Also,
and the way that Delaware managed it financially, the schools, that they got a grant from the foundation. And I think that there's probably the ability to continue that. It's just trying to plan it.
What's so interesting is they want to encourage the students to come here to learn about the world, but yet, on the other hand, they're losing so many of their adults that after they get out of college, they go off and they're coming to America, and so they're losing that. And we found the same thing in Tokyo. Tom and I had a meeting with the
Soybean Association.
and they have the same problem, that they're losing people.
Yeah, just the fertility rate has dropped,
And people
household
coming
formation
here,
is
yeah.
lower. A lot of younger kids, a number of these students at the college were all very interested in coming over to
Everyone we
America
talk to.
and visit, possibly with us. Yeah, there's.
Is, from the middle school standpoint, do you think that maybe there's culturally in America a thought that looks, my child's too young to send to Japan?
Yeah.
Versus, the more worldly approach that sounds like is being taken in Japan to expand horizons and opportunities. Whereas here, what do you mean you want my child to go halfway around the world?
Right, and that's the difference in our cultures.
Yeah.
So much different. We coddle our kids so much more. We don't let them out of our sight. They give them cell phones. We know where they are all the time. That's not the way it is over there. Right? They encourage the kids to go out in the world and do things.
They, the name of the program is the Habataki program, which translated means to fly to see the world. And I think that's really what they promoted. So maybe there's a way to work with the schools to see, not just, because we'd also talk about the high school level too.
Right.
So not just the.
Well, high school
Maybe
level, they
that-
want to exchange the teachers and do it like, go in there.
I'd go. I don't teach, but I'll go.
Well, one of the things that is starting at Hayes, it's got started last year, but it's gathering steam, and Buckeye Valley is also starting it as this Global Scholars Program. So Buckeye Valley is doing that too now. And I think the Delaware school system has been bogged down the last couple of years by the building program that they've had. I think that's taken up a lot of their attention and so forth, and that's over now. So I'm glad about that. And Kim Young and Jessica Scott are the people at Hayes who are in charge of this Global Scholars Program. And that would be a good connection for us. It's something I've always thought would be a good connection, but it hasn't quite happened. And I mentioned that in my annual report. One of these years, could be sooner than later, I think that will become more useful at the high school.
You could build on these programs using that.
Yeah, you could, the kids have this experience at Dempsey, and then they can go to Hayes and have more experience of this. That would be helpful for us. So that's something we can work on. So,
Thank you.
well, thank you. That was breathtaking. I'm really, really glad that we were, that's something you could never, ever arrange on your own. Something incredibly special. I thank you for doing that. So, you can carry something like that off. Not everybody can do that.
We had fun.
Okay. So we talked, maybe about JASCO for a second. Have you met with them since you came back?
We were supposed to, we had a lunch meeting scheduled and had to reschedule with the new executive director. And we're going to be rescheduling it with the mayor and myself, and we can invite you as well. Just to talk about, JASCO is the Japanese Association of Central Ohio. This is the Central Ohio chapter. They're all over the country. And it was established, I think it's celebrate the 20th anniversary. And Carol and I went to the 20th anniversary celebration to learn more about the organization. And now we're members. They can provide technical assistance in terms of working with Japanese companies.
I think that would be a really good contact for us.
That type of thing. And then we encourage Sakata to consider joining as well, because it's a Japanese-based organization.
If I can help you work on that, I would be delighted to. I think that would be a really useful contact because it's local. It's something right here near us. So, okay, very good. Shall we move on then from Sakata to Baumholder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited, yeah.
There's a lot of excitement about Baumholder next year, right?
I think so. I think this is another special opportunity, like a once-in-a-decade opportunity, in a way, to do something really good with them. Does that make sense? I think we have a really special opportunity. So far, I haven't been able to elicit a date for this yet, and maybe they haven't fixed it. Maybe it's not fixed yet. That's possible. But when it is, I feel like just from the brief efforts we've made so far, that we can get some veterans to go over there. I definitely think that is very feasible. So we could have a decent sized group going from Delaware. So maybe we should go to the email you got from Bernd May, where he was saying that he'd had some discussion with the city council. The Baumholder had said that he would be helping them to improve their contacts with us.
Yeah, we've not heard back.
We haven't heard from him.
No,
Okay.
and because we had indicated that we were interested, because I think Jay Martin was.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, Jay's probably there right now, I could imagine.
And I don't know, Carolyn, if Kat,
I'm looking from Gabi to see if I have.
the idea would be they're celebrating they're opening a museum and to celebrate the American relationship in Baumholder. And the idea is to try to get a delegation of community members to be part of that dedication next year. But we're just trying to figure out kind of when and.
Right. They probably aren't thinking about our participation that much. They're probably thinking about it from their own local circumstances, but I think it would be a great thing to participate in. Tom and Carolyn have been to Baumholder, and I've been there, and Baumholder is different. If Sakata is bigger than Delaware, Baumholder is smaller than Delaware. So, but the Post has such an interesting American association for the city that it's a really unique opportunity for us, I think. I mean, it's just.
So is the museum for the city itself, or it's?
It's how the city Americanized itself once an American base went there. So all the armed forces, before they went overseas, had to go there and stay at this base and be trained. So they changed their small town and Americanized, brought in the McDonald's and the Pizza Huts and you know, that we as Americans have to have. It's far down to they even have a Jeep going through one of the walls. So
The Jeep that was built in
it's big Jeep,
Toledo,
yeah.
Yeah,
the Willys Jeep.
Well, it was going to be May 11th, but now Gabby says that the mayor doesn't know that he can confirm. I don't know that we can keep that date to fix it all in the museum.
So sometime in the spring. or something,
Sometime.
Right?
Yeah.
She says I'm staying with her though.
I did find out my grandfather was captured right near Baumholder.
Really?
After he went through Bastogne and the Battle of the Bulge. Yeah, he was captured, I think, about 20 miles from Baumholder.
Wow.
And went
Yeah.
through Baumholder on his way to the POW camp up near Leipzig.
Oh.
Yeah.
My cousin is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle was injured at Kaiserslautern, which is quite close to Baumholder.
Yeah.
So,
Used to play them in football.
well, I think when we find out the date, or if we don't find out the date in the next month or two, we might just start to talk to some people, because I was told that like the owner of Wendy's, who has the Wendy's franchise here in Delaware, he's quite interested in veterans activities, and this might be something interesting for people like that, perhaps, to be involved with to some extent. I think it could have quite a good profile, generate some news coverage here, and what's unique about this Army post is it's not really in the country, it's really abuts right on the city. I mean, you can walk from the city onto the post. I mean, it's really integrated to a certain extent with the city. So,
And it's still an active base?
yes.
It's it's constantly changing in terms of the numbers of soldiers who are there.
Yeah.
It is still active.
Was it established in World War II or
After the war, yeah. This was,
Well, yeah,
German.
what's fun about it is it was built as a Nazi army post. So there are German-built buildings on the post, and you can tell the ones the Germans built and the ones the Americans built, because they have different roofs on them. So, yeah, it's such an interesting experience to be there. So I really hope we can expose some more people to that.
And I think we should be able to, we just need to figure out the date and figure out what makes sense.
Right.
What people
Right.
say.
Right. So a lot of different angles on that we talked about in that meeting we had at Amos a couple of months ago. We haven't really been able to move much farther than that, but I think we've got a lot of good ideas. I asked Paul Kraft, because, we have a junior ROTC activity at the high school. Maybe several of the students could participate in this too, could go to Baumholder in some manner.
Yeah.
So,
The connection with Delaware is through Jay Martin as the soccer coach, and then there was a resident of the city who was a commander of the Kicks. And so between his interest in establishing a relationship with Jay Martin, this kind of came to fruition. You know Anne Brandenberry? She was a music teacher at Dempsey.
No.
Her brother, anyway. Commander.
yeah, some old contacts there. All right, should we leave Baumholder here and see what we can do? If we get any news, like a date, we'll certainly let everybody know.
Yeah, I just don't have a message.
Okay.
Every second message.
Yeah.
Get it fixed. Now it's on my big pictures.
Well, if we move on to Omutnensk here, this is just a very brief message. I met Julie at the library a couple weeks ago, and we looked at the archive that we have. There's quite an extensive archive in the library about the old history of Delaware and Omutnensk. And we might see if we can maybe borrow some of that from the archive to put in our little display down that Lee and what would like to create on the first floor. I guess you're familiar with that. So, and that's why I put some of the pictures from a Woodland Scout here so we can see them, and maybe we can move on a little bit with that. But I think we should talk over the next year or two about Woodlands and let's see if we can do something. You know, I would like to, but I mean, I think it would take a visit. I mentioned that in my annual report, I think maybe if some of us have an opportunity to visit there, that would be something special to see what is there. I don't think we would get a welcome like Sakata. I think that's more of a trailblazing thing. So, but I would love to see us be able to do something with that. I mean, the Russians have they also have a very sophisticated history, a bit like the Japanese. I mean, they have beautiful things in Russia. Beautiful, they make beautiful things in the past. So we'll give that a whirl. Okay, well, let's move on to some of the other items here that we have in the next few minutes. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to read the annual report that I finally finished last evening.
No, I have not.
Okay. Would it be worth reading it, or would you like to read it? I'll read it if you would like, or.
Can summarize it.
Yeah. I'll just summarize it. I recognize in this report that a lot of the things that we hoped to do this year just didn't happen. They got delayed. Like the museum dedication was supposed to be this spring. Well, it got delayed. The Global Scholars Program was supposed to be more active. That also got delayed. The one really big thing that did happen this year was the visit to Sakata. And that in itself was, was a big achievement in a way. We could never have imagined a couple of years ago that we would have something really like that. So that's the good upside of it. And I also mentioned in here that we restructured our committee a little bit, and I think that'll help us moving forward. So I think that'll give us help us to be more focused in a way. So I mentioned that. I mentioned that we won't be following up anymore our contacts with Arequipa. I think that was consistent with what we said when we made a process. We a couple of years ago, we studied having a process for adopting and evaluating sister cities. So I think consistent with that, we can just stop that for the moment. I think it was we learned something from our contacts or lack of contacts with Arequipa, but that could happen. So I mentioned that. What else here? So as far as objectives for the coming year go, I mentioned that we would be hoping to go to Baumholder, to the museum dedication, putting quite a bit of work in on that. And that we will try to look for ways that we can build on this Sakata visit, especially as far as maybe there are ways that we can expand on the school program with students. That might be a good thing to explore here, especially because they're going to be coming with students in November. And maybe if we had some discussion about that, October. It's usually they come at the end of October, beginning of November, just over the end of October. So following up on the Sakata visit is something we will look at doing. That's pretty much what I said.
Very good.
Is that okay?
Good.
That's
And
perfect.
I think just the Sakata visit, at least take a lot of.
Oh, boy.
You take a lot of planning, there's a lot of time that they're needed. Going over and back and trying to get it together.
Well, you've seen that you don't have the staff that some of these other cities do, or even Columbus does, for instance. I mean, the sister city activities are just a small part of your job. I mean, none of you are full time except for you, Tom. I mean, Carolyn, this isn't even a full full-time job for you.
But we don't have anybody on staff necessarily. It's just, it's time to pull it all together.
Yeah,
We have to be there.
right. And at least for the next year or two, the capacity will come out of this committee. If we can, the things that we,
They're all.
well, it's the things that we can do, or that we do with friends of ours, or, you know, it could be fun. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with this committee, and that's how I think if you have fun, like if you go to Baumholder, you'll have a great time. I went to Baumholder, I had a great time. Peter Lang, all the things I did there was fantastic. I mean, so I would like to go to a Woodlands next year. That's what I'm going to try to do. Go to Woodlands. So
I think where the committee could be helpful right now would be helping us figure out, the mayor wants a permanent display of a thing, right? What we brought back, the gifts, these documents. It would be nice to design something either on the second floor. I think we underutilize our first floor. You walk in there downstairs, and it's all this big space, but there's nothing really down there except that big clock. But it'd be nice to be able to have something where we could have on display. And
When you find the glass case and you can put it in there.
it's really, I think we could do that, but we could, in addition, have some of the other art of some of the.
yeah, some of those Russian paintings we have out there would be great.
Paintings,
Yeah.
Pictures from Sakata, some of these documents, we could all, and I think the first floor, we just don't use it for anything,
Mhm,
right? As you know, the main entryway down there,
Mhm.
it's kind of a big open space that couldn't possibly be used for that, but I don't know if we can.
We can find it.
I mean, don't you agree? I mean, you want folks to help?
As long as you know
Working
it's there,
committee.
because like I said, there's
Yeah,
very few people go to the first floor. They come in the back door and they come straight upstairs.
but we can say that we're, coming.
Yeah, you come and look at the little display.
Have the doors.
Well, yeah.
Temporary entrance around the.
Well,
front.
right now, we're looking at upgrading our security system in the city hall and only allowing the entrance to be on this entrance here. And I think what we could do is be a good wayfinder. We could have something, nice signs that might say Sister City exhibits or something, so that
Mhm.
kids can come through there and
Well,
others.
our first Friday, we could open our doors.
Yeah, we
Do
don't.
a
And we-
display and
Yeah.
people could come in through City Hall. and-
Farmers Market Saturday
Farmers
too,
Market
right?
Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two perfect opportunities.
Well, you guys are all enlisted.
Yeah.
As Rand said, he wants the committee to be, it's kind of a working.
No, that's fine.
That'd
Absolutely.
be great.
What I would encourage you to do is between now and our October meeting, just to think about how you would like to participate in this committee to some extent. You don't know very much about it yet, so maybe that's challenging. But if one of the cities appeals to you, or you, Julie, you have a position kind of relating to Delaware City Schools, and that's something that is a very kind of an important contact for us in a way. So I can talk to you some about that and some of the people that I've worked with in the past there and so forth. So there are certain kind of special niches that we need to just be in touch with people. I think just keep them informed, work with them, see how we can interact with students perhaps. I think that goes for Ohio Wesleyan too. I mean, all of our sister city relationships all came out of Ohio Wesleyan. We've recognized that in the past, but it's always good to remind ourselves of that. Ohio Wesleyan played an important role in our sister cities in the past and can do that in the future too. So think a little bit about what you want to do for our meeting in October, and I'll make some time in the meeting to discuss that some more, what we might be able to do as individuals.
May I interject a
Yeah.
project that I'm working on currently? It's kind of fell into my lap while I was on vacation. I was in Ireland, and a family friend was our tour guide, and we've known him for 2 years, and I didn't realize that he was on the city council for his town. And I was thinking about joining Sister City here, and he started contacting the people back in his city. And Julie and I are working on getting a band for them from Hayes to go to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day this year. And they would like to do it every year. So it would be, we could reach out to Olentangy schools, Buckeye Valley, you could do OWU. I mean, and they are very, very interested. I'm getting emails and
Is it through
Marching band, symphonic choir.
Fancy for middle school?
it's for the high school.
High school?
Oh, wow. You talked to Mrs. Levy.
We are just at the
Just
beginning
starting.
of this, yes.
Wow.
but
I had
they
a
are-
conversation with Paul last week. I happened to be in his office for something else. And we discussed it briefly. He was going to reach out to Andy as well as Mrs. Lemke and get that ball rolling. And, you know, I think the biggest kind of unknown is cost. I think that's a pertinent question that a lot of people have. But I think right now we're looking at an all-in cost of about $1,000 to $1,200 per person.
Mhm.
That's flights.
That's about right.
And they're actually going to house the
Tours,
students
yeah.
in the town. They're specifically picking out host families, so they'll be paired up with other students their same age, and they will be completely taken care of there. They're going to have a welcoming party, and then they're going to have, at the end, they'll have Irish dancers and a trad, and I cannot believe the amount of work that they've already got this ball rolling. So this is something that
Would it be open to band, just band students from, Buckeye, like you said, Buckeye Valley, Olentangy, or is it specifically?
this year we were looking at Hayes, but you know, if next year Buckeye Valley, I'll work with I mean, they really want this to.
Because my daughter my kids go to St. Mary's,
Okay.
but they played in the band. So then they're going on to Watterson, but they may be, because they're residents of the city of Delaware, they'd be interested in playing, they play clarinet, so
Mhm.
they can participate as well. Okay.
Yeah, well, let's see how these things develop. And
La Hardane,
how do you spell that?
LAHARDAUN,
LAHARDAUN.
RDAUN. I was also told, and this is really a bizarre coincidence, they have Nepham, which is their mountain, and it's going to be a premium whiskey, and they are in the process of getting all of their ducks in a row. And apparently they've been established here in the United States and registered in Delaware, Ohio. It was
Not Dublin, Ohio, but Delaware, Ohio.
Delaware. I was just dumbfounded when I was told that.
It's a
So
whiskey,
yes,
and it's called what?
Nepham, and I don't know how to spell it.
You can bring some to our October meeting.
They have not started distilling yet, and Irish whiskey has to be in the cask 3 years and 1 day. So in 3 years, I'll
Okay.
How
All
do they
right.
manage that?
So where is La Hardane?
It is
In Ireland.
about an hour north of Galway.
In the County Mayo, I think you said.
Yes. And it's small. They have not been twinned with anyone. And I was in Killarney, and they had a big plaque of how many they had been twinned with. And I was like, wow. And that's what got this whole conversation. Yeah. But they are very,
There was a pub involved.
very.
All right.
Chaperone.
You gotta work bingo.
What'd you say?
You have to work bingo.
Figure that.
Well, very good. Is there any other thing we should discuss tonight? The last item is that our next meeting will be October the 10th. So we'll be back here then. And if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, I think we'll accept that, okay?
Well, we're good.
All right, gang, well, thank you.
If you guys come up with anything, any questions, you might need to send something out so we each have each other's
Absolutely.
email address.
And it might help.
Something comes up and just,
should do that.
I have a new form, I'll send
Okay.
it out, and then maybe the form, the criteria for Sister City.
Oh, yeah, I can, if you don't have a copy of that, I can send that. Yeah, that would probably be good. A few years ago, we developed a a kind of a process of adopting sister cities, what we would do and how to give them up in case things don't, you don't want to just have sister cities, you're not doing anything.
Right.
So,
Like Russia.
Are there other exchange programs at Hayes that, like teachers that take trips?
There's the Rotary Club has an exchange program
Okay.
that they do annually.
Or even just like a trip where they go.
yeah, Kim Young is a French teacher and she takes
Okay.
kids to Quebec or to France, so.
We had, what, a Macedonian student, a South African student, I think, and a couple of others that were here last school year.
Would those be relationships that you'd want to build on, or are those just individual?
I think they're
Long
individual things.
Okay.
So we have a Taiwanese student coming to Hayes and a Turkish student coming to Buckeye Valley with Rotary. So. All right.
Thanks.